You're listening to the World's Team Podcast. It's not just America's team, Cowboys Nation. It's the world's team. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Stewart and Mike Poland.
How about them Cowboys?
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the World's Team Podcast, brought to you by the Bleed Network and sponsored by Cowboys Experience for the ultimate stadium tours, tailgate, game tickets, you of all above. Be sure to go to www.cowboysexperience.com. I am your host, Paul Stewart, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother in arms. You can find him on bloggingtheboys.com. It's no other than Mr. Mike Poland. And as we were just about to record this episode, we just literally received breaking news. Osa Odighizuwa has been traded. Mike, can you give me more info on that?
We still don't know because it's literally as you pressed record, it came in that he's gone to the 49ers. We don't know what for yet. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get the latest news on this right now because I'm still trying to find this out right now. I mean, it's a bit mental right now. I mean,
as the show goes on, I will keep an eye on it for us.
Just out of curiosity to me, where was the source for that?
That is from Tom Pelissero. So it is genuine. So he has gone. Nick Harris has also reported it, saying that it is confirmed. I mean, basically, you've got to look at it that they do have now, especially with another signing that they made, which we will talk about later in the show. They do have a surplus of defensive tackles. If you're, as we will discuss about what they've done with Kenny Clark, that tells you he's going nowhere. That would mean essentially, if that was the case, if you had on a 3-4 defense, which is where they go in, you had Osa, Kenny, and Quinnen Williams all on the field at the same time. That's over 65
million. Yeah.
In cap on that field, just at that position alone.
Yeah, like defensive tackle, nose tackle, like that's a lot of money just to accumulate for 3 players. We are here. I mean, as free agency is spiraling out of control. I mean, obviously we all know
about busy for the Cowboys.
Maybe not so much to the fan base's expectations, because obviously the whole thing with Max Crosby, which we'll briefly talk about, because that whole story is absolutely bizarre. And when we were initially told from our good sources that it was all media talk, then we obviously heard from James Slater that it's actually been has been confirmed the Cowboys did try to make an offer, and then obviously the Ravens came in with 2 first-round picks, what the Raiders were asking for. Then all of a sudden, boom, Crosby gets apparently failed his medical. Apparently, I mean, we had the Cowboys doctor, Dr. Cooper there, etc. Who's well renowned, like one of the best in the game when it comes to medicals. He's helped players actually, like Mahomes. Oh, you got more breaking news?
Yeah, they've got for this year a 3rd-round pick for Osa.
For this year, okay, that's good. Yeah. What is anything else with that?
That's it so far. That's from Todd Archer. Just saying it's a 3rd-round pick back for Dallas, which basically means, Paul. And the NFL have literally just posted it 4 seconds ago, saying that it's a 3rd-round pick. So you get back what you paid for. But that does mean, Paul, that for our live draft show, we're back to doing day 2.
on the UK Cowboys fans, though.
Oh, I mean, there's no harm in if we want to do something here.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens. But yes, as we're kind of talking about free agency, we'll run down all the names of the players that we have acquired. So obviously we'll start off with a defensive end, outside linebacker, Rashawn Gary. We traded we traded for him for a 4th-round pick from the Green Bay Packers, and I know a lot of Cowboys fans are like, "Oh, we traded away enough 4th-round pick, etc." I'm like, this one I can get fully behind, Mike. I can fully support this. It makes sense because, like, everyone's question about Gary's lack of production, like, last season, and I'll tell you why. It's because it was a 4-3 defense and not a 3-4. When you saw Gary playing in a 3-3-4 defense, that was when you were getting the more production out of him. So a lot of people are not talking about that. A lot of people are not talking about that. So, but let me know your thoughts on that, dude.
Rashawn Gary, interesting one. In terms of, if you said to me, does that mean the Cowboys don't need to draft a defensive end / outside linebacker in the draft? I would say no. It doesn't mean that they need to go out with pick number 12 or 20 to now get one. You do get one, the value falls to you, then yeah, of course, snap it up. But it's not now like you're not hunting in the draft, because Gary just provides you he provides you just like that safe space where you go, okay. It is correct in terms of, if you said about the production, right? Look, 7.5 sacks last year. The
Still
issue
good.
is that's fine. The problem was that they all came in the first half of the season. After that, he kind of went a bit quiet. There's a number of factors with all of that. You know, you're quite right. Positional, you know, the position that he was playing more of a defensive lineman than a normal outside linebacker. But look at the other things. He's only 28 years old. Doesn't turn 29 until the end of the season. So his birthday's in the middle of December, I believe.
Yep.
So you've got a lot going for you. But the issue you've got is, this is why I'm saying that Gary doesn't pertain you from having to take a defensive end or outside linebacker in a draft, is that his production did come off in the second half of the season. It did drop. But you see in the first half of the season what you can get from him if you utilize him correctly and he's healthy. If he is, he's a brilliant guy to have to play for you. And he's also kind of like how we used Micah Parsons in moving him around on that defensive line. Gary can do that too.
Absolutely. I would give you another positive as well. It's like reuniting with Kenny Clark. There's going to be that continuity coming to this defensive line and this front seven, essentially.
They know each other.
Exactly. They know how to communicate. That's really going to be fundamental, and that can actually rub off and be positive for the other players, etc. So I'm really excited for that.
Christian Parker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yes, also the Cowboys have brought in safety Jalen Thompson, but not just one, but 2 safeties. They've also brought in safety PJ Locke from Denver as well.
Yeah, I mean that one. We can see the writing on the wall of what that one is about. But the Thompson one, I'm more excited about this one than I am the Gary one. This one is particularly interesting. Back with his old defensive backs coach. So there's a plus straight away. There's a positive sign. Guy knows how to be utilized. He's got familiarity. But he's not the perfect safety, but he's perfect in what they're going to be asking him to do. And
specific role.
Yeah. But you think he's going to be side by side with Malik Hooker. That pair in there makes an interesting duo, extremely interesting duo.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to Cardinals fans that I'm friends with and stuff like that, and they're saying this has been a great pickup for Dallas. They speak very highly about Thompson. So the fact that they're gutted at the fact that he's now no longer with the Cardinals speaks a lot, despite how poor their season has been.
Yeah.
like speaks volumes. So, but I'm excited to see how that materializes. But in terms of how that affects the draft, I think we could safely say, in terms of if Caleb Downs is like, or yeah, Dylan Tinnemans, I think you could probably like slightly scratch that off the list, essentially, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, mostly for Thompson. Locke, the PJ Locke one is a rotational piece. He's there as a backup. It
I
gives you
think
depth.
that'll be, yeah, I think that will add more to special teams as well. That's
Definitely
another thing.
is what
Yeah,
that's about. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like Locke is, you know, it's tricky. Like last season, he only started in 3 games, featured in nearly all of them, I believe. But in defensively, you know, he's been steadily coming down. Had his best season, I believe, in 2020. Numbers 5, 4, maybe 2023. I can't quite remember. Yeah, but I should have got it up. So the lock one, I'm not too worried. I'm the same as you. I see that as the special teams. If they can't, because of whatever the medical issues are with Juan Thomas, he's your Juan Thomas fill in.
yeah. And also the Dallas Cowboys, fun enough, like, we've just let go. Well, we've just traded away Osa Odighizuwa. That has been the breaking news, literally as we're just recording this episode. We have brought in a defensive tackle coming previously from the Chargers. That's Otito Ogbonia. But yeah, tell me more about Otito.
I mean, to be honest with you, we're gonna have to do, because that one is one I haven't got round to yet. I'm
Mm,
you know me, I try and do a dive on the guys. That one I haven't quite as yet, because he's essentially a nose tackle, is what he is. He is a nose tackle. From what the brief scenes I've had, but Kenny
yeah, he'll
Clark
be.
is
Yeah,
yeah, Kenny Clark is your nose. He's your primary nose. I think he's going to be the backup.
I don't think so. In a way, if you're saying he's been a primary nose, I would like to think Quentin Williams and likes of Kenny Clark would be playing more like the heads up against the tackles. They could move inside for the linebackers to move outside in that way. Where
Possibly, it's just Kenny
I mean
Clark.
that's how I was kind of brought in,
Yeah,
like when I
yeah,
was playing. So that's how I kind of would imagine how that might work. Is Bonia going to be a starter? That's the question. But
yeah, yeah.
that's that kind of relates to what you're kind of saying. Like, can we see like Sir Clark being more the nose tackle? Because when you're playing a 3-4, you're not shifting half. Like, you're not like a 1 tech or a 2 tech. You're basically playing heads up essentially. You're playing
Mm.
0 or you're playing as a 5.
Like at the moment, the way I see it is you've got Quinton Williams as your one guy on the left of Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's your nose, and at the moment now you're looking with Osa gone. Solomon Thomas is your other guy on the other side. This one with the Tito says to me that your backup nose before this was Jay Tyre. So now you're kind of like sitting there going, maybe he's not as ready as we was expecting, or they are thinking that he could turn into something, that they're seeing something, and they want to do a bit of a line shuffle there. So it could be that they're moving, and you've got Tyre and Tito both battling for the nose tackle position. Could possibly be the case. Could very well be. Osa going tells you a lot, that they're happy to
Yeah.
trade Osa. So there's something going on there at that position with the moves that they've made now. So is
Yeah.
Kenny being pushed out, and this was the nose that they're looking to put in, or to create the battle for the nose between him and Tyre?
Just remains to be seen. But in terms of like the Osa Odighizuwa, we've now just saved 16 million. So we're now 12 million under the cap now, which is great. So
Yeah.
we've got that little bit of flexibility. We can go like dive more into free agency, etc. Do more negotiations with contracts and stuff like that. But the good thing is we've got a day 2 pick now. We've got a third round pick. So that's great news for us, because there is some players you can really grab in that third round, potentially. Some guys that might fall from the second into the third, and you can actually snatch them. We've seen it happen time and time again.
Some fantastic linebackers there at that position.
Yeah. Well, I keep saying, like, my guy, Jacob Rodriguez, I think he'll be gone. I think he might actually move into the first round. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I would say he's an early second for definite.
It just depends on teams' needs.
Exactly, and how they're impressed by him, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And we all know, like, with the whole Arizona situation, with them releasing Kyler Murray, that now increases the need for Ty Simpson. There's going to be other teams in that there's going to be other teams that are quarterback needy. They're like,
this is what I was saying. Yeah,
like it's crazy. But going back to speaking about quarterbacks, we've also brought in a quarterback, Sam Howell, former Commander and former Eagle. Sam Howell, quite an interesting one actually. With Sam Howell. Obviously, he did not have a great game against us back in 18 when he was back with Washington as a starter during Thanksgiving 2 years ago. That was the one where DeLon Bland set the NFL records in that game. So he would have bad memories from that. But very interesting, though, because it kind of brings a bit more competition to the backup quarterback position, especially with likes of Joe Milton, which has question marks on that, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you got Joe Milton and Will Greer, don't forget. So you got the full quarterback. So you've got this is Sam Howell is definitely your backup quarterback. He's better than Joe Milton. So you've got the QB3 position now, which is up for grabs, which is going to be a battle between Greer and Milton. Because, I mean, Joe Milton showed you some things, but he definitely showed you the issues. They definitely showed you why that you know, this trade was happily made to the Cowboys, because Milton definitely has an issue when it comes to his throwing arm talent. That is an obvious problem.
It's too much. It's too much talent in terms of like he can throw the ball, but it doesn't always land at the right place. That's the problem.
It's
very bazooka like.
Oh yeah,
it's that powerful that it decreases your accuracy. It's like the more powerful cannon, the more what's the terminology when you're firing the gun? Not like when you fire a firearm, like it's recoil. That's what it is. Like there's so much recoil when it comes to Joe Milton. That's the problem.
I think with that, because go on.
I was going to say you could also question his decision making in terms of reading the plays as well. Yeah, so that's a big factor as well.
Yeah. So I mean, like with Sam Howell, like me and you were both in a frame of mind with this draft. Is the Cowboys could be looking to use one of those late sort of day 3 picks to pick up a rookie quarterback that you could try and see if you could develop and do something with, because you need to do something to get Joe Milton on his heels and start shifting. That was so to me, getting a rookie quarterback in was not a bad idea in the draft. Sam Howell changes that now. Now that's off the table.
Yeah, I much prefer the Sam Howell pickup rather than one of these quarterbacks from this year's draft. Because we've talked, I was talking to Brian from our UK Cowboys fans as well, and I tend to agree with him. I don't think the standard for quarterbacks this year is not that great compared to previous years. And like you said just there, Mike, Howell I would much prefer than drafting one of these kids, because there's a lot more flaws with this quarterback class, I would say.
It's niche, is what I would like to call this quarterback class. They're all guys that have very obvious strengths and weaknesses. That's what this class is. Would I say that it's a terrible draft class? I wouldn't say. I mean, we've seen a lot worse in the last recent years.
Well, it's the fact that more or less nearly every analyst is pretty much given second-round grades. Like the fact that Mendoza is going to be number 1 overall is because the Raiders are desperately needing quarterback. That's the only reason why he's going number 1. If the Raiders didn't need the quarterback, you're probably talking about late first round for Mendoza, really, and possibly Ty Simpson. But now, because of what teams are doing in terms of releasing veterans and going in a different direction, their stock has went up because of the desperate need for that position. So, but when you look at all these other quarterbacks, you're talking about there's a big drop off. You're talking about end of the middle of the 4th round and quarterbacks in the 6th and 7th round. Really. So I'm not really in full trust. We all knew this was going to be a defensive stacked draft going this year, and that's still going to be the case. But there is, speaking about defense, we've also brought back former Dallas Cowboy, who previously played for the Detroit Lions last year, is Tyrus Wheat. So we brought him back, which I think is a great acquisition to bring him back, because I remember his game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He really brought the hammer in that game. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Yeah, it was 2 seasons ago.
It was.
The game where Turpin won that game for us, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, he was good in college, Tyrus Wheat, an absolute animal when it comes to tackles for loss. I mean, that guy was insane. Very, very role specific, but you get that role right, he'll do work for you. He'll do some wonders. So, and the Cowboys are just in need of that particular position, and we've seen them make moves. I know you're going to talk about another one that the Cowboys have done to retain a player, which is all good signs. And there's an irony here that, I mean, do you want to move it to Sam Williams?
Yeah. So obviously the Dallas Cowboys have basically extended Sam Williams, or given him a new 1-year contract, essentially. I mean, good friend of ours. We've met him on multiple occasions. We briefly interviewed him back when we were in Dallas there. Love the guy. I'm happy for him, but this is a big year for him. He needs to
Go on.
I was going to say, but for what we've paid for him, it kind of indicates me that we're probably going to be utilising him more in special teams than seeing him on the defensive line.
Well, here's my thought on this one. You need a guy like that, because they've said they're a 3-4 defense, but it's a multiple. So when they switch to the 4-3, that makes an absolute perfect sense to have Sam Williams on the outside when you're in obvious passing down.
Yeah, my only downside of it, my only criticism of Sam is the penalties. That's the only thing that really, if you can sort that out and just really get to that final part of getting to the quarterback more often than not, then we're cooking. And hopefully this 1-year contract is maybe a sign for him to kind of realize, I really need to step up here. I was drafted as a 2nd rounder from Ole Miss. I really need to step up here. So I hope that's the case, because like we said, we love Sam Williams, lovely guy, spend good time with him, chatting away. But yeah, hope that materializes. But in terms of all the social media when it comes to Osa Odighizuwa, it's been quite well, according to some fans, the 49ers got a steal on that. I think it's a fair trade. I think personally, because we drafted him as a 3rd rounder. We're saving $16 million on him against the cap, and we actually get our 3rd round back, essentially. So. Yeah. I think that in terms of that perspective, I think that's quite a fair deal. Yeah,
I think it's equal.
Yeah, the only downside is Osa is probably the one of the guys that can really get to the quarterback in that defensive tackle position. So is now the question I have now, and I can't believe I'm saying this, does defensive tackle now come back onto the board for the draft?
No, they had a surplus of defensive tackle. They still do, and you look at it. So they've lost one. I know what you're saying, because it was a particular strength with the three of them in there. You've got bodies you can rotate in there. So I think it's not so much now. What you had before is you had quality and quantity. Now you've got some quality, but still the quantity. So now you just got to figure out who's going to be the guy at the rest of this crop that can fill the gap. You've got plenty of options to fight for that position.
Yeah, definitely.
When you include Solomon Thomas in that.
Yeah, people forget about him. Like, Solomon Thomas is still part of the Dallas Cowboys, and me personally, I thought Solomon Thomas was probably one of the main standouts in the interior before Kenny Clark. And like, when Kenny Clark was out, like, not on the field, Solomon Thomas stepped up. Obviously, when we brought Alexa Quinn Williams into the fold, like, that changed the interior massively.
Oh,
so
never mind. Scrap that. The Dallas Cowboys are sending Solomon Thomas.
Oh no!
Yeah, for a 7th round pick.
It had to be when we were recording, didn't it?
I know, yeah.
Well, so I'll re-ask this question, Mike. Do you think defensive tackle might actually have to be addressed in the draft? It's all going on. It's coming in thick and fast, man. Like, as we're sitting here, it's all coming in. That's interesting. It's wild that you get this extra sound. I'm not even sure if they get question is
one 7th round pick. So they've
gone.
But
who was he traded to?
Titans.
Oh, interesting. Oh, Aaron Whitecotton. That makes sense. That makes sense. That is Aaron Whitecotton's guy.
So they sent, in total, Solomon Thomas and their 7th round pick. The Cowboys 7th round pick. But then they've got Titans 7th round pick in return. So they've essentially swapped 7th round picks so the Cowboys get a higher 7th round pick and send Solomon Thomas in return for it.
I know it's only the 7th round, but I don't like that one. I don't like that. Don't like it.
And it also saves the team $2.5 million on the cap.
So we're now 14 million under the cap. 14.5, roughly. Well, speaking a bit more about like the cap and stuff like that and whatnot, there has been other news. Sorry, my phone just went off there. Do apologize, I thought I had it on silent.
Mine's going off like crazy right now.
Obviously, other news in terms of like free agency, etc., restricted free agents. Kai Fairbairn, who is now being paid as the highest kicker in the NFL with a $6.5 million per year deal. Now, that kind of leaves the question with Brandon Aubrey now. It's like, do we now just finally just step in and give him the $7 million a year? At this point, Mike, I would do it.
Yeah, and Aubrey has turned around today and has said, Dallas is my home. I want to stay here. I'll do anything to stay here. So
there you go.
It's on his side. So it's just basically a case of agreeing terms. My guess is it's going to be the finer tuned stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll be probably like how much distribution on per year, like it works out. But on average, I would imagine he'll be getting paid as the highest kicker in the NFL. Because let's be honest, Brandon Aubrey deserves it. It really does. My God, I was not expecting this to happen when we were recording.
But here's more of a more interesting question you can throw at this. We know what the Cowboys' offense is. We've seen it. We've seen what they had to do last year.
Mm-hmm.
Are the moves that they're making a step towards being an average team defense at the moment? I'm not saying are they right now. Are they steps to getting the team to become an average defense?
I think any move we do right now is actually a step in the right direction. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, because we were the worst defense last year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it doesn't look like it's shaping up to be a worst defense at the moment. They still need to do things, but Gary Thompson, okay, they've shedded 2 defensive linemen in trades today.
Ogbonia is in as well. So now that increases his starting role essentially.
Yeah.
So it's all kicking off, folks. But yeah, I mean, we would love to kind of spend all night and watch how the free agency materializes at this moment, but I think that we'll call it for now for this update. But as it stands right now, as we kind of broke the news, Osa Odighizuwa, defensive tackle, has been traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a third-round draft pick. And as we were just recording there, defensive lineman Solomon Thomas has been traded to the Tennessee Titans for swapping 7th-round picks also. So the Titans get Thomas and our 7th-rounder, and we get the Titans 7th-rounder, which is pretty much like an end of the 6th round, essentially.
Yeah.
So interesting to see, and not to mention we also acquired 2 compensation picks as well, one for DeMarcus Lawrence, and who was the other one for? Name's failing to describe. Bug me now.
We'll remember it when we come off it. This always happens when we're on it.
Yeah, always does. Brain farts, everyone. Brain farts. But yes, but everyone, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please follow us all on our social media at the World's Team. But before we do go, Mike, please tell everyone where everyone can find you.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I just thought I'd do a quick recap now of where the Cowboys draft picks are at the moment. Now,
okay.
Now the Cowboys have got picks number 12, 20, 92. That's 92. The Osa Odighizuwa trade. Picks 112, 150, 177, 180, and now pick 218, which was from the Titans.
Weren't we not previously 221?
No, we were like 25 something. I tell you now.
No, we were definitely. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Hold on. Sorry, folks, we are still on our episode, so hold on. Let me just check.
This will be.
Hold on, I'll do it right now, because.
I can see what you're doing there. Try not to create dead air, but I'm trying. I did.
Yeah. So we had 215 and 225.
So 225. So we've gone up from that.
And what are we now?
If I get my list back up, 218.
So we've only moved up 8 spots.
Acquired in the trade. I think we've used 2 7th rounders to go up and get rid of Thomas off our books.
I don't know how I feel about that one. I know the idea of swapping picks for Thomas is still a contributing player in that regard. I don't know how I feel about that one, to be honest with you, Mike, but hey, but let us know in the comments, folks. Let us know what you think about the Osa Odighizuwa trade. Let us know what you think with free agency in general. What do you think are the Dallas Cowboys' needs are for this draft now? Do we still, like, obviously we've not addressed corner yet, we've not addressed other positions like linebacker. Well, we have technically outside linebacker, defensive end, we technically have, but let us know in the comments what you guys think. But Mike, please let everyone know where everyone can find you.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. You can find me on Twitter or X at Kenfig Cowboy. That's Kenfig with a K, Cowboy with a K. And you, Mr. P?
You can find me at IMPStew on X and Instagram. All right, folks. Free agency is still currently on the go right now. There's probably going to be a lot more updates once this episode is actually aired in the next 10 minutes, essentially. So, but yeah, folks. Like as always here at the World's Team, it's not just America's team. It is the World's Team. We'll see you guys next time.
That's a wrap on the World's Team Podcast. Smash that like button and hit subscribe, Cowboys Nation. This ain't just America's team, it's your team. Touchdown! It's the World's Team, only on Believe, where real fans live.
How about them Cowboys?